For more on the economy and how it's shaping this election, I want to bring in Robert Reich. He's the Chancellor's Professor of Public Policy at the University of California, Berkeley. He served as the Secretary of Labor for President Bill Clinton and was a member of President Barack Obama's Economic Transition Advisory Board. Robert, thanks for joining us tonight here on Top Story. Kamala Harris just laid out her economic plan for the first time. What do you make of it, and how do you anticipate voters might respond?
Well, Valerie, it's very impossible to tell how voters are going to respond, but I think it's a very important plan because what Kamala Harris is doing, building upon the very important work that was done by Joe Biden, is to attack the source, one of the most important sources of high prices, and that is monopoly power. A lot of big corporations in America have had record profits because they don't compete very hard. There are very, very few competitors, and therefore they don't have to reduce their prices. Who ends up holding the bag? Who ends up paying high prices? Well, obviously consumers.
Of course, her opponent, former President Donald Trump, has been focusing more on the economy, really going in on the Biden-Harris administration. Just yesterday, he said this in his press conference. Let's take a listen, and then we'll talk about it.
Now Kamala is reportedly proposing communist price controls. She wants price controls. And if they worked, I'd go along with it, too, but they don't work.
All right. What are your responses to the president's comments there, former President Trump?
Well, there is a huge difference between price controls, which she doesn't want. There's nobody in the administration, the Biden-Harris administration, that has ever talked about price controls. There's a big difference between that and actually making the market competitive. In fact, this is the opposite of price controls. When big corporations have the kind of power they have over prices, they control prices. When you have more competition, when you get rid of monopolies, you actually force companies to do what capitalism is supposed to force them to do, and that is compete.
Let's take a look at some polling. A recent Fox poll shows Trump is still leading Harris on the economy, with 52% of voters picking Trump as better on the economy, while 46% picked Harris. And in a recent CNBC poll, 40% of voters said a Trump victory would make them better off financially versus 21% who said a Harris victory would help them more. So some would say President Biden has done well with the economy. What is the problem with the Democrats' messaging that this perception exists? And is Harris's new plan enough to change things?
Well, let's be very, very clear. 3 years ago, we had rampant inflation. Now, that inflation came because of supply side shocks. It came because suddenly the pandemic was over and people had a lot of money to spend. It came because the government, including the Trump administration, had spent a lot of money to get the economy going and keep people going during the pandemic. So there are a lot of causes for that inflation, but it happened mostly on Joe Biden's watch, and people blamed him. Now inflation is coming down. But, and here's the big problem, although inflation is coming down, prices, particularly in food and fuel and rents, are not coming down. Inflation is going down, but the prices are staying there. And this is why it's so important to attack the sources of that price power, that is big corporations.
And do you think the Harris campaign has enough fuel there to make a change in those polls, to see those changes?
Well, I think so. I mean, what the Biden-Harris administration has done, is to give the antitrust division of the Justice Department and the Federal Trade Commission, those are the two agencies that have the power to bust up monopolies, give them the power to do so and support them. And this is the first administration, the Biden administration is the first in roughly 50 years that has been very, very firm on anti-monopoly trust busting. Now, I think the Harris administration is going to be even harder on those big monopolies. That's the indication now. She is talking about doing that with food and groceries. You know, 4 firms control about 70% of the entire grocery market. They can easily coordinate, and they are coordinating their prices. That's why grocery prices are not coming down.
All right, Robert Reich, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app, or follow us on social media.